Oops.
All right, we're now live on social media. Please, everybody remain seated until the ride comes to a complete and full stop.
I need to makeup. Can I get my nose powdered, please?
Makeup!
All right. Makeup!
All right, let's do this. Oh, you gotta be kidding me. Oh, gosh, see. Thank you. One day I'll learn how to do this. Welcome to the Bear Facts on Guns, where host Derek Baer and his guests are locked and loaded to educate, inspire, and answer your questions about firearms. Today, gun care and customization with a real-life gunsmith. Ready? Aim. Derek.
Last week I went back home to the good old state of New York, which is still the same good old state of New York, and got to visit family. I want to do a quick shout out to my grandma. She had a recent accident out there and got really well taken care of at the hospital and got put back together. She's in good spirits. She is standing up, walking around, and doing really great. So shout out to her. I know Papa's sitting at home by herself right now.
It was not related to guns.
It was not related to guns at all. Yeah, they are a little bit stricter on guns out there. But it was interesting. And I'll get to our guest and everything.
I want everybody to know.
Kent got his first firearm. Yes. Yeah, it's really scary.
Don't point that at me.
I don't want to point that at me either.
See, it's not loaded.
It isn't. Those are some deadly bullets, though.
Yeah.
Is it an assault pistol? That's what
used properly.
Yeah, exactly.
So we want people to know, chamber's empty. Bullets.
Yeah, it's clear.
I don't have the safety thing.
Oh, you don't have a safety on there?
Yeah.
It's got an internal safety.
Internal.
Yeah, it's called Kent Proof. I don't know how to load it.
Just enough to irritate somebody.
Yeah.
What the?
Somebody's going to get offended about this really quickly. So welcome. Thank you so much. We have On Target here as well. I'll let you introduce who you are and what your specialty is and expertise. And then we'll kind of, I got a quick story to tell after that. So go ahead. Introduce who you are.
My name is Chuck Heinrich. I work at On Target. Been there for a few years now. Have my associates in gunsmithing from the illustrious Colorado School of Trades out in Lakewood, Colorado. Did Beretta SIG, Glock armor, AR-15 armor, was in manufacturing, as well as sales, and I'm now working at On Target. So I get a lot more, a lot more experience there and a different view on the firearms industry doing that. So.
It's 100% true. You guys all know how I feel about On Target. We've talked about it in the past, and one of my favorite parts there is just the education part of it, bringing new gun owners into a place like that to really get that training and expertise and understanding and compassion and patience. Yes. Because a lot of it comes down to patience. If you're a new gun owner, you have a lot of questions. And if you don't feel comfortable in a place to ask those questions, all you're doing is a disservice to the person buying the firearm.
Correct.
Because you're just not learning about what it is, how to take care of it, and all that kind of stuff too. I brought my pistol in today. I have a Shield M&P 9mm, and we're going to probably field strip it. And I'm going to ask some technical questions from you so that our viewers can understand field stripping, understand why it's important at the range, how often to clean it, what chemicals you should use and what chemicals you shouldn't use. And we were talking in the green room earlier, and there's 50 ways to bake a cake, but it's just a matter of personal preference.
Correct.
So, which is good.
We get into arguments at the range about this.
And I love that because everyone's got a different way. electrical and HVAC side of things, like
True.
everyone has a different way. All I care is that it's working properly. It's going to last as long as it should, if not longer, and it's professionally done.
Yeah.
I just don't like the hack jobs. The type of material that you use is different, but not a totally different subject on that. The thing I found out in New York is people that in my family that I would never thought would have bought a firearm during a pandemic now own some very cool guns. People that I've like my uncle never hunted, never was into guns, and motocross, riding dirt bikes and stuff like that. Literally was the most excited little child when he literally ran downstairs with his brand new 12 gauge shotgun, pump action. And this thing could hold 18 rounds, and it was dual barreled. It was the coolest thing ever. And he was like a kid in a candy store.
Yeah.
I've never seen this dude shoot a gun in my life, ever. And now he's hunting. And I'm like, who are you? Like, what happened? He goes, well, I got bored. I said, yeah, you pick up a gun and go get bored? He was like, well, I need to protect my family too. This is a town of like 3,000 people.
Mm-hmm.
It's a tiny little town. Okay.
I'm sure the crime statistics aren't that high.
Yeah, I know. It's not. There's
Jerry,
one.
what are you doing?
Yeah.
Put that back.
There's one cop. It's how small of a town it is, and it's the cop that runs 3 other towns, and he's the mayor, and he's the everything kind of guy. Random, strange thing on there. So,
Was it? Did you shoot it?
No, I actually. So here's the worst part about it. So my mom there's a lot of stuff that happened in New York. My sister sold her house. She bought a new house. My mom sold her house. It moved into her other new house. There's a lot of like pieces going around.
So you got to relax.
Yeah. The first day after driving 10 hours, and my mom might be on. I don't know if she's at the hospital with my grandma or not. But the first day, because we drive to New York, we don't fly there. We can bring more stuff, and we can bring more stuff home. And 10 hours of driving, I pull in the driveway. I literally sit down, and my mom's like, "Well, we don't have an air conditioner installed yet." Because the situation with this house, it's a gorgeous house. My mom's got a beautiful house now. It's the biggest house she's ever had, and there's no kids living in it, which is my favorite part. She's got like 14 acres of land behind her now. It's in the middle of the country. The sounds at night were incredible. And she's like, well, the people that built this house 2 years ago ran out of money. And they had to end up selling the house. And they couldn't get the air conditioner installed because they couldn't afford it at the time. And they kind of sold the house. And it was just certain parts. 99% of the house is done, except they didn't put the air conditioner in. Well, lo and behold, it's 90 degrees the week we're there. And we're upstairs. Yeah, great combination for the biggest dude in the world.
Right.
I'm hot all the time, even in blowing air conditioning. If you take that away, that's it. So my mom's husband, Roger, who watches the show too, he's out there, putting in stakes in the ground to get the air conditioner in. And I was like, well, if I help him, I can get this in faster and I can have air conditioning faster. So after driving 10 hours, I started to grab a shovel and shoveled a whole bunch of stuff and put an air conditioner up. And we installed an air conditioner while I was on vacation. I can't get away from it, apparently.
Right.
And it was comfortable, which was great. So beautiful. You can actually shoot there now. So next year I will be bringing you can shoot in her backyard. It's legal. And it's 14 acres and it's really nicely set up. So there's literally farmland behind there. So it's totally safe to shoot my LLR out there as well. So I'll be bringing that next time. And no, I didn't go shooting. I was running around all day long and I drove like 2,500 miles on a car. So I was in a car 99% of the time. And I did get to relax. I get to meet my new nephew, Cooper, Charlie. Shout out to you guys, cuties. On there as well. So enough about me and my wonderful vacation. I almost said super vacation, but it's not. It was fun. Talk about you. What's your favorite manufacturer?
Ooh, that's a tough one. All.
Okay.
Because honestly, because there's so many different variants, so many different types out there that you get to, really try and see which one feels best for you.
Sure.
Okay. And the the variety is what is the best part.
Yep.
The fact that, you don't like this gun. Okay, here, let's move on to the next one. Let's try that one out. Okay. And then, we get them into a situation to where they're actually comfortable shooting. You know what I'm saying? The gun feels good in their hand. They're hitting the bullseye and they're happy. Yep. So it's just, I really can't say any one manufacturer, even though, well, actually I will, just to bug one of the guys I work with. So I'm gonna go with Glock.
Oh,
Okay, I'm not really
that hit me in the keister. I'm a Smith & Wesson
You sure
fan.
there's no more?
yeah, right.
I know. Smith & Wesson, if you're hearing that, I'm a Smith & Wesson fan.
We do
And
take
Glock,
sponsors.
if you have
We do
anything
take
you want to
sponsorships.
send here,
Yeah, exactly. We take sponsorships.
So yeah, I mean, I do like it. Don't get me wrong, as like a carry piece, something you don't have to worry about when it comes to reliability.
Sure.
Something that's going to work every single time.
Yep.
That's my go-to.
Perfect.
But don't get me wrong, I like 1911s. I like all the other guns. I got a SIG and 45, and my AK, all that good stuff. So I really can't pinpoint any one manufacturer.
Okay.
I can't. It's not in my blood.
Does your spouse shoot?
Not really. No, it's hard to even get her to the range.
Really?
Honestly.
Wow.
Yeah. Sorry, Laura.
No, that's okay. That's just it's an interesting question.
Sure.
Yeah, it's don't get me wrong. She knows the function. She knows how to use one if need be.
Sure.
But
for the sport, she's not a.
no, she's
Let's
not
say
really
let's go down
into
the
it.
range and.
Yeah, it's now a family affair. So if we do decide to go shooting, it's me, the wife, the two boys, and we spend a couple.
And the boys
hours
are your children.
Correct. I would just.
And the boys.
I think
Those
they're
be the
mine.
boys
I'm
heading
not
down
sure.
there. Bring the wife.
Dirty Mike and the boys. I know you'd appreciate that. I've had a Step Brothers theme this whole past week. I don't know why, but it's
No,
there.
that's good.
Oh, that's the other guys. Sorry, the other guys on there. How old are your kids? I'm so sorry.
8 and 12.
Do they shoot too then?
Yes.
Okay,
Yeah,
cool.
I got them going at an early age. My eldest started shooting around 8 years old.
Okay.
My youngest started shooting last year, so it's 7.
Okay.
So, yeah.
I'm gonna ask a personal question. And your wife, I'm assuming, is okay with all that.
Correct.
Okay, cool.
Yeah.
It's weird
That's
because
true.
you come across situations sometimes where one believes one way and one believes the other way, and that's it. But it just comes down to, personal preference, really,
Mhm.
and that's it. But it's always good to have both family members, especially with something like that, because I'm sure you got safety inside your home.
Correct.
Your kids know
100%.
how to, not to touch a loaded firearm or
Correct.
anything like that. So
Yes, yeah, and we even have a situation that I run them through that if they are at somebody else's house and they find a firearm, to literally just stand there and yell until an adult comes.
Nice. Okay.
Yeah, therefore that firearm can be secured
Nice.
and taken care of, so nobody has to worry about any injury or death. So
It's the funny thing. So my uncle literally brought this massive, I call it cannon because it was like, it had 3 front. I don't even know the name of it, honestly, because I've never seen it. And New York has very different laws than everyone else in the country, kind of California laws too. And so they can't have a retractable stock on it at all.
Okay.
It has to be solid and it can't be a bump stock. So they can't have the spring inside of it or anything else on there. So it was a weird looking gun to me. And he's like, it's the only one I could order. So I just ordered it. It was like $3,000. I was like, oh, did you do any research on the thing at all, or you just thought it was cool? Because honestly, I feel like it's just a cool purchase. And I had no idea how to work the thing. I was like looking at it. I'm like, okay, I mean, obviously trigger, you get, I can see where you're loading it, where you put the tubes and everything else. But at the same time, I'm like, I don't know where the safety is on this thing. Like there is some confusing parts of it where every gun is not the same. They're not in the same placement
Correct.
at all. So working in our target, what is the number one mistake that people make that ends up putting a gun somewhere in a gunsmith's hand where something's wrong? And he's smiling. I can see it.
It's honestly, it's the first takedown and cleaning.
Great.
Because a lot of them will go way past what they need to do.
Great.
They go on. We tell them YouTube's a wonderful thing, which it is. It's good. But they need to focus on just the takedown and cleaning aspect of it instead of going farther than that when they're taking out trigger springs and then all of a sudden it turns into a box of gun that they're bringing to their gunsmith.
Box of gun.
Yes.
That's what I would have. Seriously. Like I don't know what happened, but matter of fact, speaking of that,
There's things everywhere.
Yeah.
I was trying to unjam an air gun, like a finished nailer, and I took it off and everything went flying, and I was down in the garage, so I had to yell at my wife, because she's a puzzle putter back together, and she figured it out.
Oh my gosh.
I was ready to throw it away.
Yeah.
But she-
I'm just gonna buy another one.
So-
It's so much easier.
right. That's what I
right,
said.
there you
Yeah,
go.
the gun in the box. That's me.
Yeah,
That is. Yeah.
I just hate when you have that random spring that flies out and you're like, oh God, this is bad. That's really important. And I don't know where it went.
That's what we call air soluble.
That's
'Cause
gone
once
forever.
it's gone, you can never find it again.
So when you're taking, you don't take, you minimally take apart a gun. You don't take it all. I mean,
correct. You only have to worry about a few main components. I mean,
Okay.
when you're cleaning, it's literally slide, barrel, spring, and then work your way around the frame. Because once you start getting into those little parts on the inside, that's when things can start malfunctioning.
Okay.
So
Unloaded.
Yeah.
Unchambered. No magazine
Thank you.
in there as well. And I'll let you verify that just because it's live in the show, and we'll leave it open as well. So I'll have you field strip, or I'll field strip it, and we'll kind of go through different pieces on what you should and shouldn't do, because there's a difference between a field strip cleaning and a major cleaning.
correct.
So I'm going to take this apart, and for those of you that watched my other show, you're going to laugh about this. He saw my video and knew what I did wrong, and called me out on it in the green room. And for those of you,
myself.
Nobody noticed.
Nobody noticed, but I'm going to be transparent and open here. And Derek, when he put his field strip weapon back together, put the spring backwards and got it jammed, and spent 20 minutes after the show unjamming it and fixed it. And Kent was looking at me like, this is why I don't own a gun.
Yeah. Well, I was like, don't ask if he's all right.
Yeah.
Don't ask if he's all right.
Yeah. So Smith & Wesson has this little thing inside of it, is what it keeps it down. And then obviously there's a drop down on this side that actually opens it up, and then you just release and it will slide apart, which is nice. So I'll let you start with that, I guess, and then we can kind of go through piece by piece. So slides here.
Firm.
Yep, cool. So
all right, so basically all you'd really want to do on here is get in there as much as you possibly could to, get as much carbon off and anything dirty. Like,
hi, Mom, and hi, Bon Bon. I called you out on the show. I hope you're feeling better. We miss you, love you, all that.
So any little spot, like I'll be able to find dirt in this thing, no problem. Or carbon, I should say. So you just go in, you basically go in, oil the rails, clean, oil, wipe down, use whatever solvent you want. I mean, we can get into the solvent issue later on. And once you get in there, literally it's just going in. Q-tips are a wonderful thing. They really are. Mm-hmm. It's going in, getting as much carbon and buildup off as possible, because if you just run it and you don't clean it, then you're going to get the buildup, you're going to get the gumminess, you're going to get the parts that do not function properly again.
Sure.
So it's really hard to go into detail per se, but then when you're oiling, you just hit the main parts. You can see where there's friction per se. So,
and you can get a close up on that too. One of the parts that I always like here too, you can see the wear parts on the slides where it's a little bit discolored, and that's where I always focus on making sure it has a little bit of lubrication on it so that it slides nice and quietly, freely and jam free. And obviously cleaning and field stripping things. Why are you laughing like that, man? I can't wait to do this. Am I talking dirty right now? Like, yeah. Kent's getting a raise of attention over here for those who are listening. So yeah, and you can see obviously you put a little bit of dirt on there too. I do field strip and clean mine as well. I don't go into crazy detail with it. I really care about the moving parts on it to make sure.
That's the main focus.
Yep.
Yeah.
So, and then on this part of it, the rail, you can see the discolorization on the parts that are really on there as well. I'm glad I got my nails done yesterday. So it's like Vanna White. Can you imagine if I had like a gnarly nail hanging out there right now?
a long pinky nail.
Nail. Yeah. Okay. All right. We're good to go, guys.
I'd be questioning what's going on before and after this. So yeah, with basically with the slide aspect of it, you would just go take your spring out, your barrel out. Don't know if you can see it. Sorry.
Yeah.
So that's about as far as you go, honestly, because then you can get into your barrel.
Yep.
You get everything clean. You get it properly lubed. The biggest thing is carbon buildup. So you just go around. Literally, Q-tips are your best friend. They get into the small grooves, everything like that. And when it comes to or with I normally will dip it in solvent, put it on there, and let it soak. Therefore, it'll start eating away at that, and it'll just be easier to wipe off. So, and then when it comes to lubrication, just the lightest layer of lubrication on everything. You don't need to over oil your gun. to where when you're shooting it, you're getting sprayed in the face. You know, it's happened to me before with other people's guns. It's not very fun.
He's gotten sprayed in the face, by the way.
Yeah.
Other people's
my
guns.
kids are probably listening. We're really going
guns,
here.
so. Your kids are watching?
Oh, probably
okay,
listen, but
okay,
no,
good.
you're good. You're good. It's nothing that they haven't heard at home already.
Ken, do you have something you wanted to say about that? Because you're
No, let's stay with the guns.
One of the biggest things for me too is just the where was it? When we're pulling apart the spring and the barrel here is just the thing I always pay attention to personally is the slide for
the
ramp where everything goes. So there's a ramp in here and the front of it. You're good, Ken. I got it.
Just look at the shiny part on the bottom.
shiny part on there. So that's where the bullet slides into the barrel. And that is actually where a lot of carbon buildup gets on. Correct. And it's also my most OCD part of my gun that I furiously clean because the thing gets caked on with a lot of stuff. Mm-hmm. And it's pretty good. It's clean, which is nice.
So do you clean it after every use?
You don't have to, but it's recommended, especially if you're going to be putting it just back into storage, because you can get, if you put it back in a case and not like a safe per se, you're gonna get that moisture buildup, and that moisture buildup is going to get into your carbon, and then it's going to cause rust. And what are the two things that are absolutely horrible for firearms?
Rust and salt.
Corrosion and politicians.
I like it. That's good.
Not necessarily in that order.
No, definitely not.
Just depends on who you're talking to, Kent. Is the biggest thing on there as well.
No, that's funny. I don't care who you are. So if it's your everyday carrier, right? So if it's your concealed carry or unconcealed carry, depending on what part of the world and what part of the state you're in.
I put it back together and I didn't flip the spring around this time. I had to
at least you
did it correct.
At least you have me.
I know. I had to. Tom was great. He was going to fix it for me. I'm like, no, I'm going to do the man card right now. You're not going to fix my own gun. If I have to break it, I'm going to break it. It's going to be my fault.
So if it's your everyday firearm, how often do you recommend cleaning?
Just keep an eye on it. Honestly, if you start seeing like mine's probably got a whole bunch of lint and build up on it, give it a wipe down. If you just look it over and there's some spots start looking dry, just go ahead and put some oil on it and go from there, but not over oil it. I can't stress that enough.
Right.
I have over oiled.
And what you just saw there was that's called a field dress.
Field strip.
Yeah. I'm thinking of gutting deer, I guess.
We got you all excited with the lubrication.
Right.
Dressing and undressing it. It's okay.
So a field what?
Field strip.
Strip.
Yeah.
Gotcha.
Strip.
Gotcha. I'm with you. All right.
You paying attention now?
Yeah.
There'll be a test after this.
Field
just so
something. Dressing, stripping, whatever it is.
Yeah.
So obviously a misfire, a restricted fire, or I at the range, whenever I go, I always see that one individual that's literally getting their gun jammed every other shot.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And a lot of times I'm like, man, is it the gun or is it the shooter? And it really depends on the situation.
Correct.
If you're twisting your wrist back too much, pre-doing your shot, you're actually launching that casing back into the bolt, and then it gets stuck.
Yeah.
So it's really dirty and it's just not able to eject properly.
Those are the two main.
Yeah. So customization. So I've done a lot of research with the shield. That's why I carry it every day, and it's my favorite thing to shoot. You either love this thing or you don't, and I absolutely love it, and I stand behind it 100%. I've never had a problem with this firearm ever.
Hi, Kiki.
Hey, Kiki. It's my wife. That's my wife. We watched the other Borat movie last night, so that's stuck in my head now. You love or hate it. I think it was funny in a weird way, and you can't take it for seriousness.
It's strange.
Everyone told me not to watch it, but when people say that, I have to watch it, and it was interesting and funny. So customization. I was looking at a new slide for it, and vented versus not. So on a pistol, first off, I love the look of a vented barrel. It's cool. It's like a hood scoops on a car that's done properly. Is there really a benefit to have it?
It does lighten the firearm up a little bit. If you vent it and then you also have your barrel, comped on top.
Sure.
Therefore, that's going to help, keep the firearm at level when you're shooting it.
Okay. So explain comp on the barrel. For those
But
of you that don't know.
you'll have the vents on the top, and then they'll drill holes into the barrel to help that gas release upward in order to keep that firearm level.
Okay.
Yeah.
So does that affect any kind of exiting of the casing on it? Or
it does not, because it's not like a gas impingement system like an AR-15.
Okay.
This is more of an inertia-based system, I guess you could say.
Sure.
So it's more of the how do you put it properly? I stump myself sometimes.
I never.
So when that round goes off, it's just that
it's inertia.
Inertia
Yeah.
that makes it go. Makes it cycle.
Perfect. Okay.
So,
Cool.
Yeah.
I don't know. You have ghosts in your scene.
Right. I don't know. It sounds like turkeys.
Yeah. We're sitting in. Side note: we're sitting in the backyard in a bonfire, and I hear this crazy screaming. And that's my sister Elise. I got a quick story for her too. We're sitting in the backyard at a bonfire, and I hear screaming in the middle of a field. Not a good sign, by the way, in the middle of the country.
Mm-hmm.
And my mom's like, "Oh, those are coyote or fox or whatever." I think it was fox. It literally sounds like a woman screaming, and they're little babies, and that's how they communicate, is they scream. Wow. And you can tell they're getting that way as well. Look at my sister. Oh my God, you're such a wuss. Yeah, I know. My sister's country girl. My sister's a 911 dispatcher in New York.
Oh,
and,
nice.
I got to see the inside of the police department, not in handcuffs. Nice. It felt great, actually. In my day, I've been in that a couple times in handcuffs. It wasn't fun. So I met her lieutenant, and that's the first thing I said to her lieutenant was, "It feels good to be in this place without shiny bracelets on. It's great." So really cool group of people over there. And now I know why they caught me all the time. The amount of technology that is built into a 911 dispatch center is insane. Mm-hmm. I'm very impressed, and my sister does an amazing job. She is grown up so much. She's 20 years old, so far younger than me, and super proud of her, super impressed, and she wants to be a police officer one day, a canine police officer. Very
nice. Well, go for it.
Yeah, I support her 100%. And I have to not speed through New York. They're really strict on that kind of stuff as well. So,
do they have the 9 you're fine, 10 you're mine, or no?
Not at all. They have the 2 you're not okay, and 1 deciding if we're going to pull you over or not. So that's it.
Fair enough.
You're welcome, Lise. But yeah, so trigger is the next thing. So can you explain? One thing I want to focus on is trigger sensitivity when it comes down to just your regular carry. And then 2 would be the AR conversation of trigger modifications to make it less poundage to pull. Mm-hmm. Push. Tom taught me that. Can you modify triggers?
You can, definitely. A lot of companies actually have, manufacturers as well as other outside manufacturers will have trigger groups per se that are drop-in that can lighten up the trigger pull. Okay. Other companies will have you send it back to have their guys do it. Mm-hmm. AR-15s, there's 10,000 different trigger groups out there. So it's just a matter of what you want on that. Sure. Now, if you're talking concealed carry, I'm going to say get as heavy of a trigger pull as you can get.
Explain why. Yeah, go ahead.
Because if you're out there, just even reholstering per se, you don't want that thing to get caught. Not only that, when you're out there, you do have to draw and are on somebody. You want to be 100% sure that you want to pull that trigger or you have to pull that trigger.
Not by accident, because it's easy to push.
Correct. Because then they come up, they pull, maybe accidentally pull a little too soon and hit themselves in the leg, or it bounces back and hits the person behind them, or all of a sudden, they realize the threat's not a threat anymore. Sure. And it's already too late.
Yep. So those are great points. And On Target offers a really great concealed carry course for those of you that are listening and want to, get a good place to conceal carry. One of the things I like about the range the most over there is the fact that you have to do a live holster draw during the concealed carry classes. Yes. That's not offered and wasn't actually offered when I did my concealed carry as well. Kent's got the On Target up here for you, for those of you that want to give a call and just mention the show. They'll take really good care of you and make sure that you're, in the right place for that.
And Gales and Guns is not a musical.
It is not. That would be a very dangerous
Yeah,
music.
come on,
They're
get it.
super female friendly over
Yeah,
there.
they
Yes, we are.
You guys
Yes, we
have
are.
like women's leagues.
Correct.
That's
Yeah.
insane.
Yes.
And love it. Every part of it.
Well, another thing that we love too is that when females come in, they actually feel good about being there.
Mhm.
We get multiple ladies that stop in and say, I love coming here because I get treated like a person.
Yep.
Where at other shops, ranges, they're like, they look down upon us and don't think that we're worthy per se.
I've said this for many, many years. Women are way more patient than men.
Correct.
They shoot better,
Yeah.
and they can drive stick better if they were taught properly. Yeah, Ken. Yeah. Uh-huh.
You bet they can.
Where are we going
I
on
bet
this?
they can.
You bet they can.
My dad's wife, Rachel, she drives a manual car smoother than I've ever felt anybody. It doesn't.
Nice.
It literally feels like a non-auto, like no transmission.
Hey, just like your trigger, it's the clutch, right?
It's the
Mhm.
clutch.
Yeah.
I don't know what you're trying to say.
No, I mean there's always a
You're-
give in your
you're
clutch.
so true.
Right?
Just kidding.
You got to
Correct.
know where that's at, just like your.
Yep.
Exactly. Kind of like a 2-stage trigger. You got that little bit,
Yeah.
and then it goes.
I learned
That's
about that.
that's how that is. I know exactly, and we've talked more. I've pulled this out so many times, and I've been at the range so many times. I know where my first part of my safety and my trigger is. I literally feel it. I can hit it every single time and know that it's good, and I'm not pulling the trigger, but then I have to pull back a little or push back a little further. But when I pull, I know I already have it right there if I'm ready to fire. But if I'm not, it's obviously on the side. But when I'm ready to go, it's like clockwork. I can literally feel it right now, which is my favorite part about it because I've spent so many hours with this thing
Mhm.
because I carry it every single day, and it should be that way as well. We were having a conversation earlier. When it comes down to, I would put myself in probably the intermediate, beginning to be the advanced category because I'm kind of diving more into the technical side of my gun ownership in my lifetime. New York has so many restrictions where Illinois is a little bit more lenient.
Mhm.
So I'm able to do more things that I've wanted to do that I've never been able to. And I have not, they always, my cousins are like, oh, I build guns from scratch. Like I just order all the parts and I put it all together. I have no idea what to do past the field strip. How hard is it to change a trigger? And obviously it depends on the gun.
Depends.
but-
Yeah. First of all, it depends on the firearm.
Sure.
It always helps to have some sort of armorer's course under your belt in order to go in depth with anything integral with a firearm. Okay. Because once again, this comes the air soluble situation. Okay. Once you start taking stuff apart, that spring goes, it's never found again.
right.
This happens quite a lot.
So scary.
Yeah.
Give me heart palpitations thinking about it.
I
Lost a
have
screw.
no
Yeah, this
idea
is
how many
really
I
cool.
lost in school.
Oh
It
no.
was horrible. I mean, to the point where I got a magnet about this big and I would just comb the floor.
Right.
Oh, penny.
Yeah. Right.
All right.
That one's worth money.
That's right. That's
Exactly.
right. If it sticks.
So, yeah, I mean, with that, it's
So, how long is that school?
it's 2 years.
2 years.
And it's a full-time job. You're
So
there.
did you grow up around guns? I mean, you wake up.
Not really,
Your
no.
dream was always to be a gunsmith.
No, I just always loved firearms. My dad helped me dabble in it just a little bit before I turned 18.
Yeah.
And then when I turned 18, I just went, I was gone full into it. So I didn't start smithing school until I turned 21.
It says it cool. I didn't start Smith in school.
Right.
That's awesome, dude.
Yeah,
It's so
right.
easy to roll off the tongue, by the way. He's only said that 5,000 times.
Yeah, right. I didn't start smithing school until I was about 21. I think 21 into 22. And then just because you can't own a handgun without being 21 or over, so it would make sense at that point. I was in there. I graduated 04, and it is literally we'll call it a part-time job because you are there Monday through Thursday
Mhm.
from 9 a.m. till like 4 or 5.
That sounds full time to me.
So, yeah. And you go through the different steps. You start off with basics, then machine shop, stock making, and then finally DNR, which is, or DNF, design and function.
Okay.
So,
So-
you designed your own firearm?
Correct. I got it right here.
Oh, let's see it.
Oh, yeah. Pull
Yeah.
that thing out.
Yeah.
Oh, that sounded so dirty. Sorry, wife.
Yeah,
That's slow listening
Yeah,
to the
Laura,
other side.
don't worry. I saw
Yeah,
it.
Laura.
Pull that thing out.
Yeah.
We know it's not lubed up
I
too
hope
much.
it's lubricated. Yes. I heard this one's a bolt action.
That's right.
Yeah, right.
And it is.
So you designed this. You made up the drawings.
I didn't make up the drawings. No. It's a basic bolt action, so it just
Okay.
starts you with the basics. It's a school, so
Okay.
they just want to get you into contouring the barrel. They want you to get chamber in the barrel. They want you to. I know this is probably
No,
His eyes just-
no, literally, I'm amazed. I'm thinking of a gun,
Yeah.
and you made it. I'm sitting there like, man,
So
that's
then
impressive.
we get the barrel, fitted to the receiver. Then we test fire that, and then we go on to stock working. So I basically had a clump of wood that was about, I forget how far along it was, but I had to shape it. I had to, scrape it out, put the bedding in, get it set, finish it, add the wood and everything, the grip cap as well as the end caps. So it was a long process.
Sure.
And stock working is very, very tedious. I'll just put it that
Sure.
way.
It's
Especially
like
if
a
you do-
carpenter. You're
Yeah.
like a carpenter. With
Whittler, yeah.
whittler.
No,
That's my
I am
favorite
very
word.
far from a carpenter.
Well, I'm going to judge on your whittling
Yeah,
skills here in a second.
let's see what this looks like.
Tell them
It's like
tree branches hanging out. The right side's a
No,
little-
it doesn't,
yeah.
man. That is
No,
beautiful.
I highly.
Holy
First off,
cow.
I mean, he sounds. I've had a great conversation with him. It's super
It's
crazy.
just amazing.
What the heck, dude? This thing looks like.
I know. Look at that. It's just
Wow.
beautiful.
So this was my baby.
Dude, it's just like my Thompson. I mean,
Yeah.
literally. What caliber is this?
308.
So my favorite caliper.
Yeah.
This
That
is
is
literally like my
beautiful.
Thompson. Dude, it's gorgeous.
Yeah,
Thank
look
you.
at that. It's just
I
gorgeous.
lucked out on the stock.
Yeah. So I just have to say, for those of you that are not watching live on whatever channel you're watching, YouTube and Facebook and everything, this is incredible. This is professionally done. This has great curvatures. I can already see great dexterity for where your arms go, and you got your you got to help me out with the sniper pose where you're putting your hand underneath the. I'm just getting into rifles like this.
The little stump on the
The little
bottom.
stump.
Oh, that's
whole-
like the comb.
The comb. There we go. It's beautiful.
I
The
think I
colors.
got that right.
Sure, I don't care.
Yeah,
right.
that's
I'm-
cool.
I don't know. I don't own a gun. I'm just looking at it. It's beautiful.
Yeah.
Yeah.
The staining on it. It's a nice dark. It's gorgeous.
That
Good job.
took. What was it between? Luckily, I got to do it during the summertime.
Uh-huh.
So that helps out a lot when it comes to the finish and drying and then
Yeah.
Sure.
going over it again. It took about a week and a half.
Wow.
So you cut it, you shaped it, you
Correct.
sanded it, you did. Man, it is gorgeous. I mean, for
You
those
bored-
people
you
listening,
bored out the 308 then too, right?
I did not do the board, no.
Okay.
But what I did, we did the chambering.
Okay,
for it.
cool.
Okay.
So yeah, it was already bored. We just had to do the chamber, mount it to the receiver, all that good stuff. So make sure everything went. And
I like the tripod up front too, which is awesome. Actually, I think
Bipod.
Bipod. Excuse me.
Yes.
Yeah, see, he's going to correct me already. Hey, intermediate guys,
Yeah,
not
there's-
expert and not advanced.
there's only
I
two.
know. I correct where it needs to be.
I
That's all.
love it.
Just
Please
like-
do.
All right.
Yeah.
So what's the difference between a clip and a magazine?
The clip is metal and is used on a top, and a magazine's underneath.
Technically, a clip is 3 sides. Magazine is 4.
See,
3 sides.
3 sides.
Yeah.
You guys
You got
gotta
the
have 3
sides.
Yeah.
So would they
And then
call
the
that a
back.
menage a trois?
Yeah.
In the gun world.
Yeah, right. There you go. There you
That's
go.
awesome. So I mean, the thing that's incredible to me is, number one, I'm sure this gun is going to be in your family forever.
I sure hope so.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, if
and
not,
you-
then I'm
the
gonna
kids,
come and
if
haul
you're
my
listening
kids.
in, you sell that gun, and I'm pretty sure Dad, wherever he is at his point in his life in the grave or
Beautiful.
not, is going to roll over wherever he is and probably find you and hunt you.
Yeah.
Um,
Well, if you're gonna sell it to anybody, members, I'll write up a price. You can sell it to Derek.
$1 million.
Yeah. Right.
Um,
I'm gonna put it
beautiful.
away. You guys good?
Yeah, no,
I'm
it's
completely
gorgeous,
fine.
yeah.
Blood, sweat, and tears in that thing, man.
Yeah.
And beautiful, beautiful firearm. So,
Thank
I
you.
commend you for that.
And that's that you've gone hunting with that?
No,
No,
I'm not a big hunter. I mean,
No.
I think not at all. I just
it looks like it would kill a deer. That's why I said.
oh yeah, no problem.
Yeah.
308,
And
baby.
amongst
I mean, it
other-
looks like a
amongst
great
other
hunting
things.
gun. I mean, the bolt action and whatnot, right? In the tree
Yep.
stand,
Yep.
right?
Yeah.
100%.
I didn't want to take it hunting. I was worried it would get scratched up and down.
Sure. Yeah. No, that's your baby. That's, how many guns have you made or smithed? I guess I would be called, right? Smith?
That's I don't have a number. I can't.
that
just a
many.
lot.
Yeah. So, so the big issue right now, what you do or what's happening out there, and you kind of said somebody did about YouTube and ordering parts and trying to make your own. So ghost guns right now is a big thing in the United States that they're trying to pass a law to say, yeah, you can't do that anymore.
Mhm.
So you're kind of a ghost gun guy.
No.
What's the difference?
You know what a ghost gun is, right?
Well, it's something made out of parts that doesn't have a serial number.
Okay, so
am
ghost
I right?
gun is, you've seen the 80% lowers, right?
I don't know what that means.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right.
Kent doesn't own firearms.
Yeah.
Has shot a couple times in his
Right.
life, and is kind of our newbie for everything.
Yeah.
So,
Okay.
which is great because
Yeah.
he's learned
That's
like
good
that's why his
questions
eyes are
Yeah.
so widely lit,
Yeah,
and he has great questions because me and you would think differently than what it is,
Right.
but it's great. So
Okay, a ghost gun is basically, just as an example, you take an AR-15 lower, that's an 80%er. No serial number, no nothing on it. Okay,
Okay.
that's what makes it a ghost. There's no
Nothing
serial
trackable.
numbers. Correct.
Okay.
They mill it out and they build it. That's it. And you're, from what I gather, from I don't remember how long ago this was, but you were allowed to make one a year.
one ghost gun a year.
Correct.
Do you have to register it after you make the ghost gun?
There is no serial number and there's no registration in Illinois, so no.
Wow,
Yeah. Wow. Okay.
interesting.
I think you have to register in Crook County, but I could be a little bit. I
Is
could
that,
be wrong.
it's that New York accent.
Yeah, I know, darn. I do have a Crook County T-shirt
Yeah,
that I will
yeah.
wear at one point. And no, Crook County's fine. I mean, Cook County. It's the New York accent.
So what's your feel? You're a gunsmither.
Mhm.
What is your feel? Right. Right. What? Yeah.
What's your expertise?
What is your feel on the ban or the not allowing people to just buy random parts off?
I think it's bogus.
Amazon or
because,
whatever. Right?
They are the ones who set the specification on what a firearm is.
Mm-hmm.
Everything else is a part.
Yeah.
So now that they're getting upset that, their specification of a firearm needs to be changed, I don't agree with. Let's just put it that way. Yeah.
Sure. No, that's good.
Yeah. Because parts are parts, just like
Parts for a
buy
car.
an exhaust.
Yeah.
Right.
Or,
Brakes or whatever.
Yeah, exactly.
I always think about things like that, and then I think about like Count's Customs, where they just take a straight frame out of like a S10 pickup truck.
Love it. Yeah.
And then
Great
they
show.
create this elaborate piece of artwork with perfect design and safety and usability for street usage and daily usage. And all I can think about is the same thing with guns. For me, it comes down to there's two sides of me that I'm going to speak on here because I want to touch on both because I just got invited recently to a ghost gun 3D printing Facebook page with about 30,000 people in it. Okay. So these are 30,000
I
people.
guarantee 15,000 of them are agents.
Are what? Agents?
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. I'm sure. And I thought he said something else really quick.
No,
I wasn't. New York
going
accent
there,
kicked in. I was like, did you
No.
say what do you think you said?
No.
I hope not. And
I did
I'm
not.
pretty
I'm going to clarify
agents.
that. Agents.
Okay, cool. Yeah. Can we bleep
That's
that live
right.
video out? I don't want to get anybody
I
in
don't
trouble.
know.
And that's,
No.
Yeah. I don't. Whatever.
Right.
So it took me a second because my buddy was all excited about it. He's like, "Oh, you're gonna love this. It's a ghost gun Facebook page." And I literally, for a second, was like, "This just sounds like I'm about to get arrested for something I'm not trying to be a part of."
Mm-hmm.
And obviously, I jumped into it because I'm curious. And with the show, it was something to really dive deep in and see a different world. That's kind of I would consider it to be more of like a dark world for me when it comes to like off-market things, and to also read and get a feel for how I feel about it. It's scary. The 3D printers are not designed to make that.
Correct.
Okay. They're cheap $200 3D printers, and they're making the main component of what you're holding on to. And they're like, you're putting bullets down this thing that blow up. And all I can think about is you're going to blow your hand off with this cheap receiver, right?
Frame, pistol, receiver,
pistol,
rifles,
So I'm like sitting there, and then I saw beautiful, gorgeous piece of work. So it got me thinking, I'm like, man, like, does there need to be standard? Because I don't want to be next to that person at the range.
Yeah. Sure.
That's the first thing I thought about.
And I don't want to have to clean up their injuries,
Yeah, and you're going to get blood everywhere. And plus, on top of that, your range is shut down for pretty much the whole day while they do an investigation. Police come in. And now you just created a whole mess of questions and comments. So, And that's what brought back to my original point is how easy is it to do this kind of stuff? Now, me personally, I'm just going to give it to you. If it's not my expertise and I haven't been professionally trained on it, I'm going to hire a professional on it.
Agreed.
I do not want to blow my hand off, nor do I want to be unsafe in any way, shape, or form. I've also seen gorgeous piece of artwork. I've gotten into TikTok recently. It's freaking addicting. And I got my wife into it too. It's the most addicting thing. And I love it because of the creativity.
Yeah.
It actually made me happy as a marketer. That's what I love to do is market. As a marketer, it shows me that the kids aren't lost.
Yeah.
Okay. That these kids are actually finding ways to make transitions, and you're literally making videography and editing software in ways that movies quality is doing. That's impressive. Yeah. Okay. And I was excited about it, but I'm too scared to even touch that part of it, you know? So I'm still in the fence about it. I don't disagree with the fact. I'm actually surprised to hear that you're allowed to make one ghost gun a year in Illinois.
I don't know if that's the law anymore still, but from what I remember, you were allowed to make one, firearm, receiver or whatever per year.
So don't do it unless you know what you're doing, I guess. Correct. Is what I'm trying to really get at. It just comes down to safety is really what it makes me worried about it is if you buy a 3D printer that's $200, and I'm just throwing a $200 one out there because it's
don't print guns.
Please don't.
It's just not advisable in any means whatsoever.
It doesn't even make sense to me.
No.
It doesn't.
But I can't.
I mean, if you're really that desperate to get a firearm, and you're printing it off of a 3D printer, that just shows me the intelligence level that you have, that you actually think that something like that could handle the pressures.
Yes.
Of, what's going on.
Yeah.
I don't know what art you're saying.
He's saying, what about a $5,000 3D printer?
Well, I mean, you could drive. I don't have any experience with it, so.
Yeah. Did you buy a $5,000 3D printer and didn't tell me? Like, come on, dude. And on top of that, you can spend whatever money capable of 3D printer is $5,000. Okay, cool. So he's talking about something that's actually good. But you can also own a $250,000 Lamborghini and still crash it.
Correct.
Sure. So, well, I mean, but if you're making, I must have been a cowboy at one time or something, right? So I have those revolvers,
I'm going to bring it next show.
Those things, I'm just like, you hang that on the wall. That's an art piece, right? Mm-hmm. With all the intricate carvings in the metal. And
yeah,
I mean that, you're like, oh no,
I'd want to shoot it.
Yeah.
I just look at it like, yeah, right.
Yeah, I'd be like, let's take it out to the range. Let's see how it works.
Yeah, but I don't knowing just the magnitude of a firearm. Mm-hmm. I don't understand. Here I put this together with Legos. Or you'll see him, right? It's like, okay, I've got this barrel and this battery charger, and I'm going to make a gun. And you're like,
well, now let me ask you guys something. All right, so what do you think happens with a bullet if you put it in a vise and hit the primer?
I'll let you answer that first because I've seen it done.
Okay.
So you're holding the bullet in
a metal vise.
Mm-hmm. Nothing.
Well, I mean, it's going to go off.
I don't know that.
If you hit the primer, it's going to go off. Okay. But, all right.
It blows up.
Yeah. It's like a firecracker.
Okay. It literally explodes in many different directions.
So given that, that just goes to show you that it needs its containment area.
Mm-hmm. Why would you do that? You're going to hurt yourself.
Well, I mean, not to mention, I'm not going to lie. Definitely watched that YouTube video about 14 times because it was cool as shit to see. Just throwing it out there.
Yeah, I mean, well, people also think, right, that if you drop a bullet on the ground, it'll take off, right?
No, it just goes.
That's why I said nothing. I'm like, nothing.
Yeah. No, it needs that containment in order for that projectile to
move
do
forward,
its thing. Yeah. So that's why I just put that up.
Yeah, but it uses the barrel. That's what the barrel is built for.
Correct.
To hold it and then pitch it forward. And my barrel has, grooves in it, so it actually rotates it as it leaves, so then it creates that spinning.
A lot of them do. I watch CSI. A lot of handguns too, right? That you get this strangulations or whatever they're called.
Yeah, all barrels.
There you go.
I mean, except for smoothbore shotgun barrels.
Can we play? Wow, Art. That was dark.
Listen, we know you
Can
don't
we wait
like
until
Russians.
I leave? I know. And to answer that question, that'd be a no.
No.
Art he grew up in a different area of the world.
Of the world.
That's it. Is what we're gonna say. And I'm sure he did it with tanks.
Right. Hey, throw a rock at that Scud missile.
See if you can piss it off or not.
Yeah.
Kind of like the little alien on the Looney Tunes. Just,
That's right.
This is so true.
Yeah.
In terms of performance, I guess, is coming down. So I'm always about tweaking things. I love my gun the way it is. I love how it shoots. I'm always looking for ways to advance it better, to make it more comfortable, change and tweak and kind of design different things. Of all the research I've done with my shield, there's not a lot of customization I can do to it at all.
correct.
Is that something we can change? Can I change the other thing I keep seeing too, and correct me if I'm wrong, they have adapters that can change my 9mm to a 22.
That would be a conversion kit. So you would
Yes.
have a completely different barrel, slide, and spring and magazine.
So I might as well just buy a new gun.
Correct.
Okay, cool.
Because it might cost about the same.
Yeah. And I've seen it. So I've seen conversion kits when we first started the pandemic and bullets went completely scarce.
Mhm.
I still have a plethora of 22 rounds all across the place. And there's a conversion kit that they make for my AR-15,
Yep.
which I was like, man, I just want to go to the range and shoot. And I just want to not shoot something that I can't get, or it's $2.50 a round, which sucks.
Or it's $1 every time you pull the trigger.
$1 every time you pull the trigger. So I looked at the conversion kits for that too. And then again, I stopped myself because I'm like, I don't know what I'm doing. And I've never done this before.
Mhm.
And I have to ask the question, how easy is that for like an AR-15 to do that?
Oh, it's great. I had one for mine. CMMG, in my opinion, makes the best one.
Okay.
It's been the one that I saw was most durable and withheld up against the most carbon buildup. And they just run like a champ.
Nice.
I mean, so I had one for mine, and I play with it all the time. And
That's awesome.
It was rock and roll with that, and you didn't spend,
So my number one thing I think about when I do these conversion kits, and I'm a mechanical thinker, so I think I know how a slide works and how the trigger gets pulled and pushed, and then hammer drops and all that, and I get the mechanics of it. When I look at a 22 round versus a 5.56 round, although they're very similar calibers,
completely different.
Yeah, well, it's yes and no.
Yes,
Okay.
correct.
The thing that always makes me nervous is I'm worried that 22 round is just going to bounce around in my barrel.
Not so much. You still have the rifling that protrudes, and the 223 is only slightly bigger than the 22.
That's what I was
So
getting at.
the only thing that you would really have to worry about is the buildup in your barrel.
Okay.
It will get dirty. You're going to have to go in there with a pretty good solvent and scrub it out in order for it to,
What's
be happy again.
What's your preferred solvent that you
All right,
stand
my preferred solvent, and
I'm going to let you do it.
if
I'm
we're
sure you're
gonna-
going to piss off.
and all in one, then, it takes away from the purpose of either or.
It's a conversation about shampoo and conditioner. You never do a 2-in-1 shampoo and conditioner because one moisturizes and one takes away.
Correct.
Why can you put them together? It never made sense to me, and I don't do 2-in-1s. I can't really care about that.
I don't.
You look like you use
I don't either.
2-in-1 shampoo all the time.
Yeah.
A lot
That's why
of
his
Aquanet
hair's
back
like
in the 80s. That's what it was.
Can't use a little bit too much 2-in-1. And
That's
bad.
right.
So kids,
That's
don't use 2-in-1. And it's a great comment because if you come across you see them all the time. You see them in Walmart. You see them in the grocery stores. Even I've seen them in where you have gun cleaning kits, and they come with the all-in-one kind of stuff. So you want to have a solvent to clean and to remove dirt and grime, and then you want a lubrication to lubricate.
In my
afterwards.
opinion, yes.
Okay, cool.
Yeah.
Yep. And I agree with that too, by the way, because I'm on the same point.
Yeah,
You clean things when you clean them, and then use detergent to clean, and lubrication to lube on there as well. Anybody in the audience out there that is listening in, you can tune in to 216 The Net.
Yeah.
And you can ask questions. Now is the time to ask. If you do have further questions after that, you can email me at derek@thebearfactsonguns.com. Website should be launched probably in the next 2 weeks for that, which is cool. So you can do that as well. We'll put some content up there and some blog stuff
That
and some
sounds
other
like
cool
a fun
stuff.
time.
It is a fun job. Yeah. So
That'll be good.
I can't beat it.
So the AR-15, you've had yours in here.
Yep.
That's very customizable. A lot of parts and pieces to make that as sexy as you can possibly make it.
You use the term sexy because that's why I bought my AR.
That's right.
Because it was
Fair
sexy.
enough.
And I
I'll
love
show
it.
you my AK then. You'll
Ooh.
love that.
I'm not an AK fan, so if you have a pretty AK,
Oh,
I've
yeah.
never seen one yet.
Yeah.
I can't do it, dude.
So is it like Harley Davidson's? Like I can just start tweaking this thing out and spending a bunch of money and then buy a jacket that says AR-15.
Yeah, pretty much. And all the leather that goes with it.
What are you talking about?
Right. You know what I mean?
Yeah. They are extremely customizable. Yeah. We call them the Tinker Toys for adults.
Okay.
Yeah, because you can literally change it out 100 million different ways, and I've done it.
Yeah.
Also, I worked 8 years in manufacturing, and then that was through when Obama got elected, and then the Sandy Hook situation, where everything just went completely insane. You know, and it wasn't all firearms like this time around. It was just mainly the AR platform. Yeah. You know, the quote unquote assault rifles, even though the assault's in action, but which we agreed upon before.
100%.
I'm
gonna assault you with my pen.
Exactly.
I'm assaulted.
And whatever you guys do on your free time.
Oh, yeah, there you go.
There it is. And there it is.
The lube is finally hit.
But yeah, you can literally, I've built thousands upon thousands of them in every different configuration you can think of.
So if I'm a new AR owner and I want to do, what's the first thing what's the most common, or what would you say, you know, here's what you might want to do first to customize this?
I would always start out with a basic platform, because you can always go forward from there, unless you're dead set on having, you
gotta explain platform, I think.
Yeah.
All right. So like without a picture, it's just a standard post front sight. I'm sure you know what that is.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
So handguard, nothing special, a peep rear sight in order to go through it, and then just standard, just plain Jane, what it looks like on heat
in a magazine there.
On heat, just a plain Jane, nothing special. Then you can upgrade to free float handguards, quad rails. You can get flip up front and rear sights. You can get lights, lasers, red dot
Disco
sights.
ball.
Oh, yeah.
They have beer openers now.
Oh my God.
Bottle openers. They got all sorts of stuff.
I'm not gonna lie, they come in handy in the wilderness when you're really stranded somewhere and you got a candy come across and you need to open it with bottle cap. I'm pretty gonna be happy that thing's attached to my AR.
Yeah.
I'm not gonna lie. I'm probably gonna go research that right now.
I think I used mine twice already.
See? Okay. It's amazing.
Stuck out in the wilderness. I see.
I've been stuck out in the wilderness my whole life.
That's right.
But I mean, also, if you are really looking into something that's customizable, not customizable, your own concept per se, and you know what you want, then I'd say start off with that. Mm-hmm. But if you just want to learn the rifle itself and the basic functions and how people would learn it in quote unquote boot camp, just a plain Jane 16-inch with a collapsible stock is all you really need, honestly.
Yeah, that's cool. Yeah, good.
So the other question I got that I've gotten before is, the first thing people say with my AR-15 is, "Oh, is it automatic?"
Always.
Yeah. It's like, oh, what do you think I do with this thing?
Right?
Well, I'm sorry, but there's in my world, in my eyes, and the way I think, there's two sides to this, and I'm going to say this every time because I am always open to different perspectives on things, and it makes me think, and I love that. Mm-hmm. Number one, I have absolutely no reason to have a fully automatic firearm whatsoever. And my daily, I don't actually want to shoot at the range with an automatic because it you pull back and you hold for just too much long. You're already shooting 3 or 4 rounds on range, and you're just completely not accurate whatsoever because I'm not used to it. Right. Mm-hmm. But the other flip side, and Uncle Pete has brought this to my opinion, is what right is it to tell me I can't have that?
Correct.
Right. And if I have the ability to choose to do that, then that's my choice, and I have to live with my decisions on there as well. How hard is it to do it? I'm not doing it, so just full disclosure, and I do not recommend doing it because it's a felony in the state of Illinois.
Correct.
And that's the laws that we're in right now, and we have to abide by the laws that are in place, whether we agree with them or not. I've seen videos on it. Mm-hmm. First off, again, I would never even pull a trigger out of my gun right now because I don't know how to do it. But it doesn't seem that easy to do.
It can and can't be. I mean, you could easily get some companies do have the drop-in triggers for that. Yeah. But in order to get it full auto, there's just, honestly, it's only a few extra parts and a bigger receiver.
Okay.
So the inside of the receiver itself has to be taken care of a little bit more.
Yeah.
And then those parts are added in order to make it into what it is.
So it's not something you can just go out to the shop and like mill off something and then it's
definitely
automatic.
not.
Okay.
Definitely not.
No. Awesome.
I mean, it all depends. I've seen a few things out on the internet that are very
And that's what I've seen
interesting.
too. Yeah, I've seen that too.
But I don't think I would ever try them.
All right, well, we're going to wrap up the show. That's an hour. It goes quick.
Goes
Every
quick.
time.
It does. Yeah.
Really appreciate your input.
Yeah,
Thank you
welcome.
so much for bringing
You
your
guys are
piece
very
of
welcome.
artwork.
Yeah, that's awesome.
Always appreciate On Target for everything you guys do and knowledge. Thank you, everyone that paid attention, listened. Any questions, hit me up.
And remember, not everybody drives an RV, but there are shows out there about RVs.
There are.
There you go. Tune in tomorrow morning for Mary Catherine's Power Hour playlist, bright and early at 6, followed by The Grounds at 7:30, and then followed by Bridging Civil Tension at 9, then followed by Dream Home Experts at noon, and then followed by Ask a Bookkeeper with Steph Conley at 3:30. And something super cool coming this Sunday will be right after Lisa's Changing Perceptions. We will go live with Fellowship of Faith. It'll be pretty cool.
Cool. Awesome.
So
Nice.
stick around. Enjoy. Thanks for getting caught in the net with us. This has been the Bear Facts on Guns. Appreciate y'all.